to see you. Good to see you.
Work annually. I've done here at Saintfield for a number of years. And of course, it's good to see so many of fellow brethren amongst the Apprentice Boys and other members of the institution, juniors, and obviously members of the public as well. Folks, we're running a little bit behind time, so I'm not going to delay any further. What I would like you to do is to put your hands together, give a very warm welcome to Saintfield, all the way from Londonderry, the Maiden City Actors.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We have been surrounded in this city for 105 days, and we ask, when will this end? When will the suffering of the beleaguered population of this city be lifted? We look down from our walls at the massed forces of our enemy, set across the landscape in their order and their regiments, looking upon this city of Londonderry with avarice and malevolence. They have set themselves upon a path to destroy us by one contrivance or another. Oh, they have not the method to storm our gates and lay waste to us, although they have tried to do so. We have repelled every attack, and at times taken the fight to the enemy. They have resorted to driving men, women and children to the gates of our city, to stretch our resources to the limit, knowing full well we will not allow those who come here seeking shelter from this Jacobean storm be allowed to suffer and perish at our very door. They have rained bombs upon us, destroying the buildings of our city and sentencing innocents to cruel and terrible deaths, some taken from us immediately by these random executioners, carried off with the echo of their explosions, whilst in the same action condemning others to a slow and lingering demise from their wounds and infection. They have even tried to remove from us our supply of water, which we could not collect without extreme danger to members of our garrison. And have they succeeded in their plot? No, my friends, they have not. We are steadfast and have remained, sure in the knowledge that we shall receive salvation from our trials. We alone have had the faith that we can maintain, even when those who've been sent with the duty to save us have waited and tarried for so long, fearing the cannon of the enemy, whilst we have suffered night and day under their bombardment. Even when those who've been charged with the defence of this city by the King and Parliament in England have failed us so readily, caring so little for our plight, one which they will ultimately share with us in time, if ever the city falls to the hands of James and his forces. We are supported in our hour of need, and must we suffer in vain? We have been surrounded for 105 days in this poor city, and we ask, how will this end? Shall we all perish at the hands of our foes as our weakness grows through starvation and disease? Or will the enemy launch an attack of such overwhelming numbers that we cannot repel it? One thing I believe for certain, and that is that we shall defend this city to the last. These days have cost us dearly, and we shall not readily submit because of the price that we, our families, and our fellow citizens have paid thus far. Our cause and duty in the defence of this city is a just and divine one, and so we shall defend it to the last man and the last ounce of strength in him. For if we are not to receive our salvation here, then surely it awaits us in the life to come, into which so many of our families and fellow citizens have already passed. For those of you who suffer in doubt, for those of you who suffer in fear, for those of you who suffer in despair, do not be downcast. Lift your face to the light of the Lord, and know that He is with you, even unto the end. This we shall maintain. Amen.
That great man that you just heard from was Governor Walker, a man that I was privileged to serve in his household. Walker did not wish greatness, rather greatness fell upon his lap when a man called Lundy became the traitor. And even at that, Walker showed his greatness, for he never truly considered Lundy to be a traitor, rather a man that was incompetent, a man that pinned his colours to the wrong mast. When Lundy sent men into battle with only 2 bullets each, incompetency can be easily misconstrued as cowardice. But it fell to Walker to be the governor of our city, and alongside him, a man called Henry Baker took up the mantle of military matters. He trained us how to fight, how to hold back the Jacobeans from the windmill. We fought, and we fought hard. But it wasn't just the bullets, the shells of the enemy that we had to contend with. The ravages of disease and starvation. The children ran through our streets, were forced to eat rats, were forced to drink horse's blood on days that it did not rain. That disease unfortunately caught up with Colonel Baker and took him from us. And in his place, a man that you will meet quite soon, John Mitchelburn, took over. Mitchelburn and Walker did not quite see eye to eye, for some of Mitchelburn's tactics were, shall we say, immoral. On one occasion, the Jacobean leader had gathered up all the Protestants that had lived in the nearby villages and forced them to the walls of our city. There, he said he would execute them in front of the defenders if we did not open our gates. A cunning tactic. But Mitchelburn would not be swayed. He gathered the Jacobean prisoners we had and marched them onto the walls of our city, and there threatened to hang them in full view of the enemy. It was a stalemate, and the Jacobean commander had no choice but to let Presbyterians and Church of Ireland people go back to their homes. 105 days we suffered through the siege. And even when we could see the ships of Captain Kirk coming onto the bay, he did not come in. For he too was another man that was unsure which king would win, and therefore did not want to pin his colours to any mast. 105 days. I remember very clearly the sermon that Governor Walker preached in the cathedral. And we heard the cannons fire, and the boom had been broken, and salvation came to our city. We had been freed. The siege was over. But the war continued. And the following year, down on the banks of the River Boyne, we fought at last the enemy face to face. A battle where unfortunately my master, Walker, did not survive. A cannonball struck near his horse and threw him from it, and the fall broke his neck. But the people of Londonderry were so indebted to him that they created a statue to him, which unfortunately does not stand on this day. However, I know that the people of the great city of Londonderry still hold true to the spirit of Walker and to his ever timeless mantra, no surrender.
Before you, a humble servant, John Mitchellburn. I had the honour of serving as governor at the end of that legacy. But tonight I don't want to speak of myself. I want to speak of the defiance, the strength, and the courage that took us along. A strength, a courage that started with some young apprentice boys as they closed the gates on the king's men who had come to take us over. And in doing so, not only saved the lives of all the people in our city, but changed the course of European history. Because make no mistake, my friends, if James's army had captured us, the way was open to them to take their French army across to Scotland. And there, many of the Stuart rebels would have gathered with that army and marched upon London. And I have little doubt that with the numbers that he would have put together, London would have fallen and William and Mary could not have ascended. But when their elders doubted what action to take, those apprentice boys acted and closed the gate on that ascending army. But the siege proper had not yet begun. In April, the cardinal King James himself came to the city walls and demanded that we surrender. He was met with a pistol shot and the cry of no surrender. He quickly retreated and the siege began. A siege that put us through many deprivations. The lack of water and food, the disease, and as you have heard, all the neighbouring parishes driven to the walls at threat of death so that they would consume the little supplies that we had. As the boom stopped our salvation, things got worse. My predecessor, Governor Baker, wounded, and like so many in our city, suffering from infection, passed away, and that meant passed. A difficult, arduous task as I saw before me the suffering of my soldiers and the populace generally. At last, as we watched the ships unable to bring the supplies through to us, driven to desperation, I raised a flag covered in the blood of our fallen defenders. A flag which today becomes the crimson flag that flies above the memorial wall at St. Paul's Cathedral. To signal to the fleet, to signal to the Montjoy of our desperation. Now was their time to act, and they did. They broke the boom, and the course of the war was changed. Because the salvation of our city meant that James had to retreat. We fired after him, chasing him down to the Boyne and victory. It was my proud honour to found the first Apprentice Boys in 1738. And behind those Apprentice Boys, and behind the courage that was displayed by the entire populace, there is one cry that comes out that reflects that spirit, reflects that defiance, reflects that courage. That cry is, no surrender. No surrender. bringing the past to life. Let's give them another round of applause, please. Thank you. Of course, it is fitting that we have Colonel Mitchell Byrne. Of course, Saintfield, the club here in the village of Saintfield, is a branch of the Mitchell Byrne Club. And it was my pleasure tonight to welcome to the stage to say a few words all the way from Londonderry, and that is our parent club secretary from the Mitchell Byrne Parent Club, Brother Colin Campbell.
Members of our law orders, all band members, our actors from the Maiden City, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Firstly, I'd like to extend a sincere thanks to Brother Mark Patton, Secretary of Saintfield Mitchellburn Branch Club, for the kind invitation extended to the Mitchellburn Parent Club to join this evening's celebrations of the Reef of Londonderry here in Saintfield. It is a pleasure to be amongst our Mitchellburn Apprentice Boys of Derry family and numerous supporters. I've had the privilege of knowing Brother Trevor McIntyre for many years and can attest that any event that he organises is executed with careful planning. Earlier this year, I had the opportunity to meet Brother Mark Patton as initial discussions Earlier this year, the opportunity to meet Brother Mark Patton as initial discussions commenced regarding tonight's celebrations. Like Trevor, Mark approaches his responsibilities with thoroughness and attention to detail, as can be seen here tonight so far. So from the outset, I was eager to participate and share in the celebrations here this evening in Saintfield. The Mitchellburn Parent Club is one of 8 parent clubs of the Apprentice Boys of Derry of long history. Revived in 1854, the club currently oversees 27 branch clubs, including the Saintfield Mitchellburn Branch Club. There are 23 in Ulster and 4 in Scotland. In 1714, Colonel John Mitchellburn, who served as a defender of the Governor of Londonderry during the siege of 1688 and 89, formed the original Apprentice Boys Association. The club was later established bearing his name. After the siege, Colonel Mitchellburn was responsible for raising his distinctive crimson colours at St Paul's Cathedral. The earliest record of this is in the diary of William Nicholson, the Bishop of Derry, in 1718 to 1725. He records that on the 1st of August 1718, a service of thanksgiving was held, and that was the first time Colonel John Mitchellburn's bloody flag was hoisted on the steeple. Later that evening, the celebrations continued with musketry, discharge of cannon, fireworks and illuminations. This tradition carries on to this day with the responsibility entrusted to the Mitchellburn Parent Club, ensuring a crimson flag is flown on our principal celebration days of the shutting of the gates in December and the relief celebrations in August. On Wednesday afternoon coming, the Mitchellburn Parent Club will present a new crimson flag to the Dean of St Paul's Cathedral, and this flag will be hoisted on Thursday for the weekend of celebrations for the relief. In 1721, Colonel Mitchellburn passed away, and the Apprentice Boys Club he founded ceased to function. However, in his last will and testimony, he left £50 for maintaining the flag on the steeple of Derry. This was about the equivalent of 555 days' wages for a skilled craftsman, thus ensuring the memory of the siege will continue. It is a privilege to address you this evening, and I'm pleased to announce that next year, the Officers and Brethren of Saintfield Mitchellburn Club will commemorate their 90th anniversary. So, worthy President and Brother Patton, I look forward to assisting you again in whatever way I can with you and your officers to support your celebrations. I'm also pleased to inform you that the club have commissioned a commemorative jewel to mark this significant milestone. I invite individuals who are not currently members of this association of Apprentice Boys of Derry to consider joining. The membership is open to those interested in contributing positively to the association and supporting the preservation of our loyalist heritage, which was earnestly championed by our forefathers. I also extend an outreach to former members who were previously part of our association. Should your membership have lapsed due to other commitments, please be assured that you will be welcome to rejoin our association at any time. If you're interested in becoming a member or renewing your membership, please reach out to any member of the association. Whether you're previously associated with Saintfield Branch Club or another club, or seeking to join a club in another location, we'd be more than delighted to assist you. Membership is available to individuals aged 18 and above with no upper age limit. We warmly invite all eligible individuals to consider joining this distinguished organisation. So on Saturday the 9th of August we will mark the 336th anniversary of the League of Londonderry. The day begins at 9:30 a.m. with a procession led by General Committee, 8 pair clubs and bands around the historic walls of Londonderry, followed by a service of Thanksgiving in St Paul's Cathedral. At 12 noon, the Carly Road roundabout, there will be a pageant re-enacting the siege, with our 3 fine actors to my left will be taking part in it. The cannon was at 12:30. A cannon will signal the start of the main parade. General Committee, 8 pair clubs, over 220 branch clubs, and more than 120 bands will parade around the streets of Londonderry. So for everyone here tonight, friends who has never been to Londonderry for release celebrations, I extend a hearty invitation to you all to travel up to Londonderry to watch this enormous parade. I can guarantee you no one will be left disappointed. Maybe after it, you may decide to become a member. As part of this association outreach, we have the Siege Museum in Londonderry beside the Apprentice Boys Memorial Hall. And I would encourage anyone that hasn't visited, any time you're taking a run up to Londonderry, please make an effort to call on the Siege Museum. And the secretary of the Siege Museum, as our presence here tonight, Brother William Drennan, is over to my right. Can I at this stage actually commend the likes of Brother McGrath and also Brother Billy Moore, who has been our past secretary and now the treasurer, for the work and effort that they have put in to ensure that the Siege Museum is there to tell the story of our forefathers. And I encourage anybody that hasn't paid a visit to the Siege Museum and the Apprentice Memorial Hall, please do so. So finally, members of Saintfield Middlesbrough Branch Club, I wish to congratulate you on this excellent evening tonight, and I look forward to the parade around the town very shortly. I bring you paternal greetings from the Middlesbrough Pair Club in Londonderry, and look forward to seeing you all in Londonderry on Saturday night. As was previously said by Colonel Mitchelburn, the cry was, and still is, no surrender. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Brother Colin Campbell all the way from the main city itself. Folks, I'm sure you're probably keen that Willie Drennan and his band join the stage. I think I might establish a rule that until the front of the stage is occupied with people, we will have to keep them off the stage. Let me just ask, if everyone at the side of the square could begin to fill up the centre, it would certainly add to the occasion this evening. So those at the back, please move forward, and everybody at the sides, if you don't mind, if you could please draw into the centre, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Already this evening we have heard about the history of the relief of Derry. And a few short days after, we had the great victory at the Battle of Newton Butler. Had it not been for those victories, the outcome at the likes of Burgoyne and Aughrim could have been very different. And whilst we look back with the freedoms to be able to speak with a clear conscience, freedom of a free judiciary, the freedom that we have to be able to worship, we do give thanks to Almighty God for all of those blessings that resulted from those victories and that of the glorious revolution. Now, whilst we do look back and give thanks, we come to the present day, and in demonstration of those freedoms, we do so with colour, with pageantry, with music and storytelling. And tonight we have with us a man that has told Ulster's story over many decades through fife, drum and many other ways. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brethren, sisters, and everyone here tonight, please put your hands together and give a hearty warm welcome to Willie Drennan and his band.
thank you very much for that introduction there, Mark. It's absolutely wonderful to be here. And just before we start officially, what we're going to do is play one wee tune as a sound check. You won't have to listen to this. But can I just ask everybody if you could come as close to the stage as possible? Because there will be more people coming in, and that's absolutely brilliant. Not too close to the Lambeg now, because I'm going to blare that in a minute or two. And there's 2 Lambegs there, so they can get quite loud. But this is a wee song called the Galloway Hills to celebrate the fact that many of our folk come over from places like Galloway and Ayrshire in Scotland, where the Galloway Hills are probably Broom, we hill our bells and bonny bloom, we hill our bells and rivers are, and we'll gang up over the hills to Galloway. We need to check how the Lambeg drum and the Highland bagpipes are tuned. You all set to go? fear no noise, and never will surrender. The gates will close against their foes on the 18th of December. I'm going to sing a wee verse of that song. And then we're going to play the tune. Behold the crimson banners float o'er yonder torrid glory. It tells the legends of 1900 and Derry's deathless glory. When her brave sons in Dundee stood in battle to defend her, indignant stemmed oppression's flood and sang out no surrender. Then here's to the boys that fear no noise and never will surrender. Their gates will close against their foes the 18th of December. Around this time of year, well, any time of year is a good time to remember the First World War and the Battle of the Somme. And we do quite a lot of songs and tunes from the First World War. We even got a whole album related to the First World War called Song. And we're going to do one of those songs now. We're going to feature Fiona Trotter singing a song about a wee hamlet in County Antrim called Craigie Warren, where, like many other villages and streets and towns and cities over across Northern Ireland, every young man of a certain age was involved in the First World War, and in some cases, such as Craigie Warren, every young man died on the 1st of July in 1916. So this is Fiona Trotter's version of Craigie Warren.
It's Purple Queen in Craigie Warren. No lads around to stir the throng. We cheer them off to from her station. The lads of Ulster marched away, and off they went for king and empire. The song took all their blood and rain. Their mothers grieved and their fathers drank, and with them they made away. It's Purple Queen and Craigie Warren, but wish my fall in the night. His feathers lie and we poppies bend. That weak hope was his
actually quite a large dance floor out here tonight. We don't often have dance floors this size, you know, so if anybody wants to come and do a wee dance, feel free at any time. Back in the day in County Down, County Antrim, what they had was country dancing, played by country fiddlers. And they danced with the quadrilles and the lancers and the barn dance and all that. You know a wee bit about that, John?
Oh, I know. I'm old enough. But anyway, what they used to do when the fiddlers were really getting well oiled was put a couple of girls on the top of a hayrick, a haystack, and two fellas in the bottom, and they would sing the dances. So they would do a thing like the Flowers of Edinburgh, like Rosie. So that's our impression of the James Last Orchestra. But we're going to do another one for you now, and we'll play it first and then we'll sing it a la country dance. It's called The Rose Tree. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, well I think it's time for another wee tune on the Highland bagpipes here. It's a wee tune called Wally Neggles Polka. the Siege of Derry, thousands of people left here and went out to North America, settled in that. Anybody here from the United States of America? No. I know there's people over here from Canada, from Calgary in Canada.
Yeah.
There they are, there. Noel and Marianne and Noel. I can think Marianne. Marianne and Noel all the way from Calgary. So hope they're enjoying this cultural event here in Northern Ireland. We'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go to the Appalachian Mountains now and we'll demonstrate how the fiddle music changed when it went out from Ulster and once it got mixed up with the moonshine that they made in the Appalachian Mountains. You want to tell me a bit about that, John?
Well, in their newfound freedom, the music changed a wee bit, and it became a wee bit livelier than it was when they left, owing to the influence of what they were making. And what we're going to do now is we're going to play a song in two styles. First, in the old Ulster style, and then we're going to play it the way it happened when the whiskey kicked in. I had a Joe Biden moment there. Okay, it's called The Soldier's Joy. I hope you like it.
Siege of Derry, of course, had a tremendous impact on Ulster society. Today, we talk about the siege mentality when things go wrong. Yes, we do have a siege mentality for a very good reason. And of course, the 13 Apprentice Boys have set a tremendous example to us since 1688, when you first closed the gates against the advancing army of King James, and we've been conscious of the cry of no surrender ever since. Just can't help ourselves, you know. But the people who went out to America took that mentality with them as well. And at the Alamo was one example of when that sort of Ulster spirit came shining through. You all know about the siege of the Alamo, and there's a lot of I would say, how many people do you think, what was the percentage of the people at the Alamo that who were of Ulster stock?
Probably more than the half of them.
I heard something like that myself. So anyway, they just couldn't surrender, so they couldn't, you know. So the fact that they held out allowed the American army to get there and take on the Mexicans eventually. So this is we sung about the Alamo. As in the spirit of some siege of yore, far off on some distant shore, for fathers stood for freedom's right. So we've no choice but stand and fight. For Davy Crockett, he knew no fear. He was the king of the wild frontier. Davy Crockett was his name. The Alamo, it sealed his fame. And if you think you can push us around, and if you think we'll not stand our ground, and if you think we'll just go away, there's one thing to you that I must say. There's one thing to you that I must say. There's one thing to you that I must say. Remember the Alamo. Remember the Alamo. Hey, there's one thing to you that I must say. Remember the Alamo. The foe may be mighty, may be great. Death may be your only fate. The foe may be many thousands strong, but we'll still blast them with our song. The wives and lovers will leave behind, the sons and daughters of home to mind. They'll wonder why it had to be, but they must know we must be free. And if you think you can push us around, and if you think we'll not stand our ground, and if you think we'll just go away, there's one thing to you that I must say. There's one thing to you that I must say. There's one thing to you that I must say. Remember the Alamo. Remember the Alamo. There's one thing to you that I must say. Remember the Alamo. Well, as you've noticed, we got two Lambeg drums here. I'll tell you what we'll do before I ask David to join me in the Lambeg drum. What we'll do perhaps our visitors from Canada and other places do not know the Lambeg drum, because they say the Lambeg drum is only played in Northern Ireland, and they say that some people say the Lambeg drum is only played to make a lot of noise. But what people don't realise is that when you get to playing the Lambeg drum, it makes you feel absolutely brilliant. It gets blood pumping through your veins and just makes you feel wonderful. And it is possible, if you play the Lambeg drum for an extended period of time, that you can drift off into an altered state of consciousness. Yes.
Get high.
Yes, everybody on stage, Davy, Fiona, James, Ian, and David were in my backyard one night, blaring away the drums, and that night everybody just got carried away with the rhythms. All of us did. And we went off into one of those altered states of consciousness, and that's at least 10 years ago, 12 years ago now, and we're still there yet, so we are. Some do ecstasy or cocaine, that's what they do to lose their brains. Some do marijuana, some do dope, that's what they do just to cope. But no, not us where we come from, we just do the Lambeg drum, the Lambeg drum, the Lambeg drum, we just do the Lambeg drum. Some do vodka, wine or whiskey to get them feeling fine or frisky. Some run for miles to escape and jump up and down to get in shape. No, not us where we come from, we just do the Lambeg drum, the Lambeg drum, the Lambeg drum, we just do the Lambeg drum. And do transcendental meditation. Some zoom off in rocket ships and round the orbit do their trips. But no, not us where we come from, we just do the Lambeg drum, the Lambeg drum, the Lambeg drum, we just do the Lambeg drum. Some folk roar and some folk rant to tell the people what they want. Some folk rant and some folk roar, tell the people they want more. No, not us where we come from, we just do the Lambeg drum, the Lambeg drum, the Lambeg drum, we just do the Lambeg drum. microphone. Someone else.
We have a request, ladies and gentlemen. It's a bit of a controversial one because it's mentioned, well, it's called Dolly's Bray. Here we go. Was on the 12th day of July of the year of 49, 500 our armies ran together, did combine. Together they did all meet up upon that glorious day to march around Lord Rawdon's Park and the word Dolly's Way. Oh Dolly's Way, oh Dolly's Way, oh Dolly's Way no more. The tune we gave was out and boys right over Dolly's Way. And as we walked along the road, any harm over our shoulders and our bullets in our arms. Then when two priests came up to us, to Mr. Spears to say, come turn your men the other way and don't touch Dolly's Way. Come turn your men the other way and don't touch Dolly's Way. Oh Dolly's Way, oh Dolly's Way, oh Dolly's Way no more. The tune we played was Wisconsin boys right over Dolly's Way. Oh Dolly's Way, oh Dolly's Way, oh Dolly's Way no more. The tune we played was Wisconsin boys right over Dolly's Way. Oh Dolly's Way, oh Dolly's Way, oh Dolly's Way no more. The tune we played was Wisconsin boys right over Dolly's Way.
I hear some folks sing along there, and that's good. Well, now that we know we can all sing, I would like to ask Fiona to sing a wee song that's become very, very popular in Northern Ireland, sung by Northern Ireland football fans. Any Northern Ireland football fans out here? Oh, there must be one too. That's a wee song called Sweet Caroline, and basically nothing to do with football, or it has now, but it didn't used to. John used to play in show bands, and
You have to admit to that.
he played it. He was one of the first people in the world ever to play it.
Where it began, I don't even know where, but then I know
a couple of verses of a wee song, and then we're going to play a wee jig if anybody wants to go up and dance. And this is a wee song about a father's words of wisdom to a child. When I was away, my parents used to say to me, "Dinny do that and dinny do that, dinny do that and never did the other thing. Well, every day, never ever day that ever again." They were good at telling me what not to do, but that stood by me to this very day. And there's a wee chorus now. Now that I know everybody can sing, I just love it when people sing the choruses along with me. There's 4 lines to the chorus, just going to take a wee second to teach you the chorus. The first line, you all know this, right? Right, we'll go on for a minute, right. The first line of the chorus goes, Danny, Danny, Danny. Second line, Danny, Danny, Danny. Third line, Danny, Danny, Danny. Last line, Danny, Danny, Danny. That's that, right? So that's the chorus when you feel like joining in. Danny, let octave I get ye. Danny, get a hair up. For if you let octave I get ye, it never will let up. And Danny lay down in the muck and the glar. Danny lay down in the shuck. For if you're laid down in the muck and the glar, I don't hey, you're getting her rough. And Danny, Danny, Danny. Danny, Danny, Danny. Danny, Danny, Danny. Danny, Danny, Danny. Danny, let big buddies don't ye. Danny, let them don't ye run. For if you let big buddies don't ye, they'll don't ye till you're done. Danny, let them walk o'er ye. Danny, let them do their thing. And they try to walk o'er ye, just let me up and sing. Danny, Danny, Danny. Danny, Danny, Danny. Danny, Danny, Danny. Danny, Danny, Danny. Danny, he knock, they tell ye. On TV. Never heed off, they tell ye, on BBC. Never heed off, they tell ye. Never heed off the va. Never heed off, they tell ye. Just listen to your da. Danny, Danny, Danny. Danny, Danny, Danny. Danny, Danny, Danny. Danny, Danny, Danny. The parade is going to start very, very soon. We've just got one more number to do. I'd like to thank everybody for being a wonderful audience, and I'd like to thank Mark Patton and the Apprentice Boys of Saintfield for inviting us along here today. It's been an absolute pleasure for us, and it's good to see so many brethren and ladies from the Orange institution here as well. So we're going to do a wee song for them, and well, I suppose everybody in the Apprentice Boys knows this song as well. It's a song about a man got over to Glasgow, and the version I know, when he got over to Glasgow on the 12th day of July just to visit some friends and have a good time. That's all it was about. Everybody, enjoy the rest of it. Well, everybody, did you enjoy that? Let's hear another round of applause for William Drennan. Excellent, very well done indeed. Thank you very much, Willie, and your band for coming all the way this evening. It was greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen and brethren, we're about to have a parade. If you could just give me one moment, I give a few instructions for those who are with us. We'll have the bannerets for the Apprentice Boys, and the standards of the Apprentice Boys, senior officers, the county, parent club, and general committee at the front. That will be accompanied by Harry Ferguson Pipe Band. Behind that pipe band will have the ladies and the juniors. Following them, we'll have the Star of David accordion, accompanied by the Apprentice Boys. We'll have Parkinson accordion band, who will also be accompanied by Apprentice Boys. Behind them, we'll have the banners of the Orange Order, who will be accompanied by Crossguard Young Defenders, brethren from the Orange to fall in behind Crossguard Young Defenders. At the rear of the parade will have Ballygowan True Blues, who will also be accompanied by the brethren from the Orange Order. Whilst the parade makes its way up the street and across down Patrick Street, Willie and his band will play a set until the parade returns here in the square. Thank you very much.